Hey there, happy Friday, everybody. My name is Chase Sr., and you're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. We're live here on Chat Sports, and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in on this beautiful Friday, June 13th, we appreciate you for making today's show a part of your day. It's Friday the 13th. Oh, no. You know what? Instead of the negativity, we're going to have a great show here on the San Francisco 49ers Report because the vibes are back and the vibes are good for this football team. Producer Chip here to my left, and we had the Bang Bang Niner gang tuning in from every pocket of America and worldwide. There is so much to talk about here today, and I can't wait to get into all of it. If anybody out there sends in a $50 super chat, by the way, deal alert, I'm going to send you a 49ers Report hat. If you send me a $40 Venmo at Chase_Senior, I'm also going to send you a hat. $10 off of that. I'm going to pop up the username right there at Chase_Senior. I'm going to pop it up. No, Chip's going to pop it up because he's steering the ship. Shout out to everybody who's a part of the show already. I see Tommy Huxley, Daniel Berry, Renee Corral, Isaac Prods, Philip Guerrero, John Wallace, and Isaac all in the chat right now. And as you all venture in here, please make sure you hit that thumbs up icon and you like the video. A little while ago, I was on live with Larry Krueger on the Krug Show, and we talked about all things Niners. We're going to continue to do that here on the show as it's a busy Friday as we get juiced up for the upcoming weekend. So coming up here on the show, we're going to hit a variety of topics. We're going to start with how this Niners offense might look different in 2025 compared to years prior. And I also want to talk about some breakout candidates for San Francisco following mandatory minicamp. So all of that is coming up right now. I see some more people chiming in. John Wallace saying, what up, Chip? Chase, what up? Niner family. Frank Wells saying, yo. Yo, Frank, how you doing? Frank Wells, appreciate you, my man. Dana Hannon saying, hi, Chase. Hi, Dana. Hope that you're getting ready to have a fantastic weekend. And Picasso saying, my only concern is the offensive line. It's funny that you say that because I just put out a YouTube short before going live where I listed my biggest concerns for the Niners going into 2025. Offensive line, of course, is one of them. Chualor saying hi. George Berg saying, yo. Robert Sist, hello from Ontario, Canada. JJ B, what up, Chase? What's up, JJ? And then PJ Bell saying, what's up, Niner gang? Bryce, feel like Cowing can be really good. Well, you said it yourself. We're going to talk about Jacob Cowing on today's show. All right, I need everybody to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. The 49ers Report is taking flight. Welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you, and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. Coming up, why this Niners offense could look a lot different in 2025. You look at Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, they're going to be a part of this potential new movement, but some others as well. And I want to begin, speaking of Purdy, by taking a look at Brock Purdy's career numbers. So he comes in and replaces Jimmy Garoppolo after Garoppolo and Trey Lance got hurt. He was terrific. Didn't lose the game up until the NFC Championship game when he injured that elbow. And I'm a believer that if Brock Purdy were to have been healthy in that game against the Philadelphia Eagles in the 2022 NFC Championship game, the Niners very well may have won that game, and they would have had a great chance to win the Super Bowl. They went on an unbelievable run that was after the Christian McCaffrey trade. Then Purdy was playing excellent, stellar football. 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, 8.1 yards per attempt, and he had a rating of 107.3. He injures his elbow, gets that offseason surgery, then he comes back with a vengeance. In his first full season as a starter, he goes 12-4. He throws 31 touchdowns to 11 picks, led the NFL in yards per attempt at 9.6. That's a crazy number, and his rating went up to 113 flat. Last year, awful season for San Francisco. A difficult one for Brock Purdy. Not a lot of continuity on the offensive side of the football. He wasn't helped by Kyle Shanahan, who I thought had a down year coaching. And that Niners offense had so many injuries. And so the Niners struggle Purdy goes 6-11 as a starter, only throws 20 touchdowns to 12 picks. Yards per attempt still really good at 8.5. His rating solid, but not elite like it was the prior 2 years, down to 96.1. So what I want you to focus in on here is the touchdowns thrown for Purdy so far in his career, which allows me to segue to this question. And this is today's poll question. How many touchdowns will Brock Purdy throw for in 2025? Join the conversation down in the comment section right now. I want to see where you're at. I think that Purdy can be helped going into 2025 because San Francisco could be a much faster, quicker, more explosive team than they have been in years prior. I think this Niners team has some really intriguing, fast players who could benefit Purdy and allow him to get back to that 2023 form. One of the players who has really taken advantage of the offseason, who balled out during the spring, is second-year wide receiver Jacob Cowing, a fourth-round pick out of Arizona in the 2024 NFL Draft. He was making plays all over the yard during OTAs and mandatory minicamp. Whether it was Mac Jones or Brock Purdy throwing him the football, he made plays, and he looks like he bulked up a lot. Cowing is a very intriguing player. 4.4 speed coming out of Arizona throughout his college career at UTEP, and then at Arizona his final 2 years. Highly productive player. Led the country in receptions with 85 during his second to last year in college, and throughout his collegiate career, he was used a lot, and he produced big-time numbers. 316 catches, nearly 4,500 yards. In the 2024 preseason, we saw this guy has some wiggle. He had the long ball on the stutter go from Josh Dobbs in the preseason, where he really had to adjust his body mid-flight and made a Willie Mays type of adjustment on the ball. Really good over-the-shoulder grab. And then we saw him get utilized on bubble screens, end arounds, some quick hitters, allowing him to pick up yards after the catch. But he was a little bit of a smaller player coming out of college. Sometimes he wasn't smooth going into and out of his breaks. He's worked on that a lot this offseason, and it showed up during OTAs and minicamp. Another thing with Cowing, he can line up everywhere. He can do a lot, and he's a much different player than Deebo Samuel. But he can help you replace Deebo with how he is utilized. Here's what Kyle Shanahan said about Cowing, who has always been hard on wide receivers. Jacob, I thought, put in some of the most work that anyone did over the offseason. And I think it's really transferred over into these practices. Let's hope so, because he could be a really intriguing weapon for Purdy. That 4.4 speed, adding a vertical and just playmaking dynamic with that speed to this offense, hopefully, in 2025. Then you think about a player like Jordan Watkins, fourth-round pick out of Ole Miss back in April's NFL Draft here in 2025. He, too, was very impressive this spring. And what's the theme of the show? Need for speed. Watkins in the pre-draft process clocked a 4.37 40-yard dash, elite 20-yard split, and a 10-yard split. Now, he is 5'11", 196 pounds, but he has a very strong lower body, allowing him to pick up yards after the catch. And while MathBomb gave him a good grade on the vertical and the broad, I think those numbers are just fine. And last year at Ole Miss, impressive season. Throughout his entire career, Louisville, then at Ole Miss, he was Mr. Steady and consistent. Only 6 drops on 185 catches, 60 games, and 42 starts in college. In 2024, this is the explosiveness. Thanks to that speed. Led the SEC in receiving touchdowns. He had a touchdown every 5.4 catches on average, and he was the only FBS wide receiver with 6 catches of 50-plus yards. Kyle Shanahan's going to utilize him on crossers. He's comfortable with that. He's clean in and out of his breaks. He's a very reliable pass catcher. He tracks and traces the ball well, and he can take the top off of the defense. Brock Purdy a couple of weeks ago during spring practices said on Watkins, he's been balling. And they had that connection going. more examples of why this Niners offense can get faster and more explosive this upcoming season. But I do want to give a shout out to our wonderful sponsor on today's 49ers Report, our friends at Chubby's. A lot of you have seen me wear this shirt during the draft and throughout this week. A lot of you love it. I do too. A lot of these logos and images are a part of the fabric of the Niners history and organization. You know where I got this shirt? Chubby's. You can find it by using that link down below, chubbyshorts.com/chat. But also, do not wait. For a limited time only, you can shop Chubby's biggest sale of the year, $45 shorts and up to 65% off select gear. All you have to do is hit up chubbyshorts.com/chat and grab your favorites before they're gone. If you miss the sale, don't sweat it. Use our exclusive code CHAT for 20% off. Be sure to support the show too. Let them know that we sent you when the survey asks, and get ready to turn some heads. Summer's about to be here. Dress like it in Chubby's. Comfy, casual, built for life gear. Their original stretch shorts are great. I really like their Chubby's Performance polos. You can wear them if you're going out with some friends, if you're hitting the golf course. But all of Chubby's gear, comfortable, made to last, stretchable fabric, very durable as well. Great color schemes if you're into pop in the eye, but normal color schemes if you want something a little bit more normal, I would say, or just easy to the eye. Something that is not as loud, I guess I could say. So skies out, thighs out. Hop on board the Chubby's train. chubbyshorts.com/chat. Use the code CHAT. Biggest sale of the year. $45 shorts. Up to 65% off select gear. chubbyshorts.com/chat. Use that code CHAT. Now, Demarcus Robinson, I think, could end up being a sneaky good pickup for San Francisco this offseason. They didn't pay him a lot of money. He has been a really solid player throughout his NFL career. And while he doesn't have blazing speed, what he does do with his size, with his smarts, with his physicality, is make plays downfield. And he is deceptively fast. And over the last 2 years, he played very solid football for the Los Angeles Rams. So he's been quickly acclimated with this Niners offense under Kyle Shanahan because he knows it's Kyle Shanahan offense, because he's played under Sean McVay. In 2023, 39 targets, 26 catches, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, 14.3 yards per catch. Last year, he was used a lot because Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp got hurt. And so he had one of the best years of his career. 31 grabs, 505 yards, 7 touchdowns. The number to focus in on here, 16.3 yards per catch. That number was 8th in the National Football League among wide receivers. So Cowing, blazing fast. Jordan Watkins, 4.3 guy. Demarcus Robinson, he ran around a 4.6 coming out of college. But with being a deceptive route runner, using his body and his size to shield defenders, box them out, to give Brock Purdy a throwing window, and the ability to get past the defense, him and Brock Purdy connected on multiple occasions on long balls throughout the spring. They had it working. And that, too, is a much-needed dynamic that the Niners were certainly missing last year. They couldn't really separate. I think that changes here in 2025. Then you have Isaac Guerendo, one of the most improved players on this Niners team from last year to this year. Isaac Guerendo, sneaky fast. We're talking about a guy who is 6 feet, 221 pounds. And in the pre-draft process, he ran a 4.3 40-yard dash. When you were that big and you're moving that fast, it makes you say, wow. Now, last year, 84 carries, 420 yards, longest 76, found the end zone 4 times. There were moments last year where you were like, man, Guerendo's really impressive. He has home run ability. Remember in the preseason, he uncorked that 90-plus yard kickoff return against the Raiders, and you saw the giddy up to his game. Remember that long run against the Seattle Seahawks to ice the game where he pulled away from the defense? He has so much potential. And this spring, the game has started to slow down for him. And what's interesting about Guerendo is that in college, he had one career college start. It came in his last game, a bowl game for Louisville. Started off at Wisconsin, went to Louisville, and he had really good production as far as yards per carry, north of 6, but he was somewhat of a raw player. We saw that last year. Sometimes the game moved quick for him. Sometimes he took the wrong route. He went the wrong direction. He didn't hit the necessary hole. But then as he got more carries, that's when he started to get more comfortable. Now that he has more experience, I think that will bode well for him in 2025. And I think the Niners need to, and I mean need to, manage the workload for Christian McCaffrey more. Coming out of college, Isaac Guerendo, a 9.98 relative athletic score on a scale of 0 to 10. That is absolutely elite athleticism right there. 6 feet 221, a 4.3 40-yard dash. That's stupid. 41.5 inches on the vertical, more than 10 feet on the broad. The shuttle, the 3-cone, also elite. I think that Guerendo can be a potential breakout candidate for San Francisco here in 2025. And what does he bring this offense? The theme of the show. Say it for me down in the comments section. Let's say it together. Speed. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram, by the way, in addition to all of the content that I give you here on the 49ers Report. I'm always throwing up Niners videos and coverage on my social media pages at Chase_Senior. Our first super chat of the day coming in from Philip Guerrero Garza, $5. Excited for this upcoming season. Go Niners. So am I. I think this is a good ball club. There's going to be some bumps in the road, right? You might start 5 rookies on defense. At the very least, you're going to play a lot of rookies on defense. So there could be some growing pains. There are concerns with this team, no doubt. But they're still a really talented team. They have a lot of intriguing young players. And I think this coaching staff has to be one of the top coaching staffs in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan, a head coach. Robert Saleh at defensive coordinator. Brant Boyer at special teams coordinator. Philip, I'm with you. Let me say this again for our new audience. If you send in a $50 super chat, I'm going to send you a 49ers Report hat. If you send me a $40 Venmo, I am going to send you a 49ers Report hat. Couple of $5 super chats coming in. Philip Guerrero again. And then Mac Daddy checking in with the $5 super chat. Chip, finally the bug of Mac Daddy sending in all those third-time super chats is gone. Good job by YouTube.
Good catch by you.
Good
Noticing
catch by
that.
YouTube.
It is finally gone.
You know, I'm the host of the show. You gotta know these things.
There we go.
Another one from Philip. Also, happy Friday the 13th. Yeah, right off the rip, as we started the show, I had said it's Friday the 13th, but we're going to give you some good news here on the show because the good vibes have returned for the Niners. Philip, thank you again. Mac Daddy with the 5. How's your off-season, Chase? Football season is coming up so fast. I will say, you know, this calendar year has been very busy. I was in New Orleans for the Super Bowl, covered a Super Bowl run, and then right after that was the NFL Combine, traveled to Indianapolis. Then it was NFL free agency. Then it was the NFL draft. I've done a lot of traveling. I went to Boston for my buddy's Boston Marathon. Had a couple of weddings so far. So this whole year I've been playing catch-up. I will say for the next 5 or 6 weeks, things are going to be a little bit slow. OTAs are over. Mandatory minicamp is over. Now, this is like the lone month of the NFL calendar where there isn't something going on. The NFL has pretty much mastered a year-round calendar. It's about 11 months at this point. So for the next 5 weeks until training camp, it'll be a little bit dry. So hopefully, things go well. Maybe do some more traveling. NBA stuff will pick up a little bit. Chip's been crushing it on the NBA front. I'll hop back into gear for that. But hope you're having a good offseason, Mac Daddy. And yes, football season will be here before we know it.
Yep.
All right, let's move forward to segment number 2. We have 3 segments that we want to get to here on today's show. Shout out to the recent commenter club, Mr. Block Ice, Mac Daddy, Phillip, Tom Kuntz, Mr. Block Ice, Bob Smith. If it's Tom Kuntz, I apologize. Some people might clip that, but you never know. Hopefully I got it right one of those 2 times. All right. $40 Venmo. You see the username down there. I'm going to send you a 49ers Report hat. If you send in a $50 super chat, I'm going to send you a 49ers Report hat as well. Segment number 2 coming up. Some big injury news for San Francisco as we look ahead to training camp. Let's get that underway right now. Hey there, welcome into the show. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic weekend. My name is Chase Sr. Thanks for tuning in to the San Francisco 49ers Report. Coming up here on the show, some big-time injury news looking ahead to Niners training camp and, of course, the 2025 campaign. So let's run through this injury report for the Niners, and let's begin with Ricky Pearsall dealing with the hamstring injuries. So he didn't partake in OTAs. He didn't partake in mandatory minicamp. I think this is a little bit of a concern, right? Everybody wants to point to that gunshot wound that he suffered last year, and of course, that was a crazy situation, and thank God that Ricky Pearsall is okay. And a lot of people have said, Chase, you're way too hard on Ricky Pearsall. He couldn't play last year because of that gunshot wound. Partially true. Prior to him getting shot, he barely practiced or did anything at all during training camp, did not play at all in the preseason because he had the subluxation in his shoulder, and he had, wait for it, another hamstring issue. And with a player who is twitchy, athletically explosive, who relies on quick, sudden movements, already a little bit small, I worry about consistent soft tissue injuries. And with him barely playing last year, and him not hitting his gear or finding his stride until late in the season, I would have loved for him to get the necessary reps that are required for his development during OTAs and minicamp. He needs to build that rapport with his quarterback in Brock Purdy. He wasn't able to do that. So the plus is that Pearsall is expected to be ready for training camp. Shanahan said he could have partaken in mandatory minicamp. We didn't want to risk it. The downside is you don't want this to negate his development because I believe reps for young players are very important. It's different when a Fred Warner doesn't practice during mandatory minicamp. He doesn't need to. In my opinion, Pearsall needs to. He showed some juice last year. 31 catches, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. The end around against the Cowboys that went for 40+. The 45-yard touchdown for his first career score against the Buccaneers when he high-stepped to the pylon and beat Antoine Winfield to pay dirt. That was an impressive play. The huge performance against the Lions when he had more than 140 yards receiving and a touchdown on Brian Branch, one of the top young DBs in the game. A contested touchdown in the regular season finale against Arizona. We saw a lot of splash plays. And Ricky Pearsall could be one of the more explosive players on this team, but he needs to be healthy for that to happen. As for Jauan Jennings, breakout year last year. If he didn't get booted for just being a great blocker and bringing physicality to the field when the Niners season was over against Arizona in Week 18, he probably would have gotten to 1,000 yards. 77 grabs, 975 yards last year, 6 touchdowns. He was the number 1 wide receiver for Brock Purdy with Deebo Samuel banged up, looking fat and slow, and with Brandon Ayuk out. And I think that Jennings could be in store for another big year here in 2025. He balled out during OTAs. Did not practice during minicamp because of that calf. He, too, expected to be okay for Niners training camp. For Mykel Williams, last year at Georgia, he had to deal with an ankle injury that he suffered Week 1 against Chip's Clemson Tigers, and that impacted the rest of his year because he wasn't quite 100%. That's why some of the production numbers and pass rush numbers were a little bit down. What he does give San Francisco is an NFL-ready body and the ability to help stop the run right away because he can really set that edge. He is a physically imposing player. During rookie minicamp, during OTAs, he was impressing a lot of people. He did not participate in mandatory minicamp because of a hamstring issue. You don't want to risk that because if you re-aggravate that, he could be out a little bit longer. He's expected to be ready for training camp, but let's monitor the injury status and the injury history of Mykel Williams. Not concerned about him. More concerned about Alfred Collins because he didn't do a lot in the pre-draft because of a calf injury. He didn't do anything up to this point in the offseason and in the spring because of a calf injury. Didn't practice during rookie minicamp, didn't do anything during OTAs, and didn't do anything during mandatory minicamp. We're talking about a player here who is 6'5", 330 pounds. And so the nagging calf, I do worry about it a little bit. And again, young player, not getting reps. I always want to see them do individual drills, work on their deficiencies, just get acclimated with the speed, the physicality, and the regimen of being an NFL player. The good news is at Texas, extremely durable, barely missed any time. I think he missed 1 or 2 games throughout his entire 5-year college career. But let's hope that calf injury doesn't linger, because the Niners need that big body in the trenches here in 2025 because they're thin at defensive tackle. Before we continue to move forward on today's show, be sure to give me a follow on social media. Support my brand over there in addition to the 49ers Report brand here. Here on YouTube, I give you so much long-form content, short-form content. On my social media pages, I'm putting out so much Niners content. It's at Chase_Senior on X and Instagram. This deal, thanks to our friends at Fanatics, is phenomenal. We've sold so many small shirts that Fanatics has run out. But medium, large, XL, and beyond, they are still available if you go to chatsports.com/SF shirt. Again, these shirts were $40. They're on sale for just $28. Niners print with the Crescent logo on the front, and they're Nike shirts. Get them today before they're gone. Limited time only $28. As for Andre Dillard, former first-round pick by the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2019, he had an ankle scope. And backup offensive tackle is important for this team. If Trent Williams were to go down, that could spell disaster for San Francisco because the offensive line is already average, I think, at best. And if you lose arguably the best left tackle in the game, even at his age, it makes an average offensive line even worse. And backup offensive tackle is a question mark. You have Andre Dillard competing. You have Austin Pleasants, who had a really good spring. Then you have Spencer Burford, who's working exclusively at offensive tackle. He played a little bit of offensive tackle at UTSA, very sparingly at the NFL level, but point here being it's hard to find quality backup offensive tackles, and when you don't have a good one, you really get exposed. Andre Dillard has ability, and he's expected to be ready for training camp, and you hope that he can tap into his potential because when we've seen him play at his best, he certainly has his potential. But a couple of years after he got a bag from the Tennessee Titans, one of the lowest graded offensive tackles in the National Football League. Jair Brown had to get a cleanup procedure on his ankle. So he did not do anything during OTAs or mandatory minicamp as well. And so you have Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa, who both had offseason surgeries. And so during mandatory minicamp OTAs, Jason Pinnock and Richie Grant, a former second-round pick, have gotten a lot of reps there. The good news is, as I try to sprinkle in good news throughout the show, is that both of those players who were let go by their respective teams last year, not retained by their own teams, have been performing well throughout the spring, giving this team safety depth. George Odom, one of the top special teams players in the National Football League, we didn't see him at all during the spring because of a knee injury. He, too, expected back for training camp. And then Yeturgos Matos. He was a pretty big signing for the Niners going into 2024, and then he had to deal with this knee injury and played very sparingly. When he did play defensive end, defensive tackle, kind of in that Cleveland Ferrell, Arden Key, Charles Omenihu role, I thought he did play solid ball. He did just have a baby, him and his wife, recently, so congratulations to him on that. But the continued knee issues, an issue for me because the Niners do not have a lot of depth at defensive end. Brandon Ayuk, not expected to be ready for the start of Niners training camp, but general manager John Lynch did say this week he is doing amazing in his rehab. Keep in mind, he tore 3 ligaments in his knee in October. So I never anticipated him being ready for week 1. I don't think he's ready for week 1, nor do I think he should be ready for week 1. But the positive is that he's coming along nicely in that recovery. Malik Mustafa, not a full torn ACL in his knee, but in the regular season finale, he injured the graft on the ACL that he did have surgery on that he tore back in 2022. And this is a pretty impactful development for San Francisco. Malik Mustafa was really sound as a rookie. He brings this team a thumper presence at the safety spot who injects fear into the opposition. And with how he played and how well he played as a rookie, I was expecting a big leap in year 2. How much time is he going to miss? He could be a candidate to start the season on PUP. And then there's Curtis Rourke, the rookie 7th-round pick quarterback who played all of last year on a torn ACL. He got that surgically repaired on after the season. That's why he didn't do anything pre-draft. I think he's a candidate to just redshirt this year, go on season-ending IR, so then the Niners don't have to make a roster decision for him. You put him on IR, and he doesn't occupy a roster spot, and then you see how he looks next year. So that right there, some big-time Niners injury news coming out of mandatory minicamp, looking ahead to training camp at the end of July. This is why you subscribe. We always bring you the best Niners coverage right here on YouTube, and thank you so much for supporting the program. Good stuff, everybody. We have one more segment to get to. Who's enjoying the show? Type me. Who's enjoying the show? Type me.
How we doing? How we doing? Who's got some big weekend plans, man? Who's got some big weekend plans?
Yeah, who's got some big weekend plans?
Anyone getting in anything sketchy on Friday the 13th? I won't tell. I won't tell. We don't snitch here.
Is some weird stuff going down on Friday the 13th?
Johnny Dubs enjoying the show. Bryce, Mr. Block Ice. Candy in the building.
Candy! Candy, did you get your hat? I sent you a new hat there, Candy.
John Wallace. Got my grandsons with me for the summer for a couple months. Gonna do some hanging out, go to the beach. That sounds awesome. I would love to go to the beach, man.
Have some fun with that, my man. Oh, Bobby Hill. He might be having the best weekend of all of us. Bachelor party renting a houseboat with the gentleman. I mean, that sounds awesome. I hope you have a great time. Stay safe, but I hope you have a good time. Enjoy yourself.
Sir.
Mr. Block Ice doing some drinking. Lost a loved one. I'm drinking, my man. Be careful with how you cope with it. Drink responsibly. I understand that can help, but don't do anything that could negatively impact you or affect you. And I'm sorry to hear about your loss. I hope you're okay, Mr. Block Ice. All right. I'm ready for segment number 3. Who's with me? John Wallace, Ernesto, Mr. Block Ice, Bryce, all enjoying the show. We appreciate that. Let's get into our finale here. Final segment. I'm going to give you Niners breakout candidates going into 2025 following mandatory minicamp. The 49ers offseason activities are done. They're in the rear view. We look ahead to the 2025 campaign coming up here on the Niners Report as I give you my Niners breakout candidates given what happened during mandatory minicamp. I'm not going to talk about rookies because technically they can't break out. So I'm going to talk about players who could have big seasons in 2025 following what happened at minicamp, but also during Niners OTAs. With that, we pop up today's poll question. I want to hear from all of the real ones. Who is your biggest breakout candidate for 2025? Let me know down in the comment section right now. Breakout candidate number 1, second-year wide receiver Jacob Cowing, who arguably had the best offseason and best spring among any player on this Niners roster. Really intriguing player for Kyle Shanahan and San Francisco. He's a speedster, 4.4 speed coming out of Arizona. He went to UTEP, then to Arizona, and he was one of the most productive players in that draft class 2 years ago, which is why the Niners took him partially in the 4th round. 316 catches for nearly 4,500 yards in college. In the 2024 preseason, we saw him display a lot of potential. A long ball from Josh Dobbs being utilized as a gadget guy. I think that he can grow upon that going into his sophomore campaign. Throughout OTAs and minicamp, he was making a lot of plays, and I like how he can line up everywhere, the versatility to his game. He's added some muscle, added some bulk and size. He needed to do that because last year he didn't really look like an NFL player, a little bit too petite. Another thing, too, he's done a better job of getting in and out of his breaks in a seamless way. Breakout candidate number 2. I know he didn't do anything during OTAs and minicamp, but I think if Ricky Pearsall can stay healthy, he can have a really big season in 2025. And this would be 2 Niners draft picks from last year's class breaking out. And this youth movement, very important for San Francisco and why I think Pearsall can break out. Going to have a bigger role due to the Brandon Ayuk injury. He came on at the end of last year, slick route runner with really good hands. His season last year was impacted by a gunshot wound, and him and Purdy do have a really good connection. They trained all throughout the offseason. Breakout candidate numero tres is Isaac Guerendo, another member of that 2024 class. And what you want to see if you're the Niners, San Francisco hitting on all these picks. They needed to do that in 2024. I like the makings of how that draft class is shaping out to be. They needed to hit on this 2025 draft. I like this class too, and obviously that'll be determined by how the rookies play at the NFL level. But for Guerendo, size, speed, physicality, home run ability, he is currently RB2 behind Christian McCaffrey. And going into 2025, Christian McCaffrey's healthy is a big concern. He's missed 10 or more games in 3 of the last 5 years. Has McCaffrey. When on the field, he's been one of the best, most elusive, explosive, dynamic players in the National Football League. But there is a big injury history there, and so Isaac Guerendo could be thrust into a larger role because of that. I also think the Niners need to manage McCaffrey's workload a little bit better. Athleticism, that is what Guerendo has. A 998 on the relative athletic score coming out of Louisville, as some of you might say, in the pre-draft process. And at 220 pounds, 4.33 speed. He certainly has some giddy-up and velocity to how he moves. I also really like the physicality in which he runs with. Now, he only had one career college start, and so we saw last year a little bit raw, right? And that one college start came in his final collegiate game. As the game slows down, as he becomes a little bit more experienced, as he gets more carries, I think that Guerendo can have a big year too. And a lot of the talk out of Santa Clara, this coaching staff is very impressed by him. He's one of the most improved players year over year. Our friends at Fanatics are hooking the faithful up with the phenomenal deal. Do you love the Niners? Check. Do you want to support the Niners? Check. Do you want some Niners gear? Third check. Well, this Niners shirt from Nike on the Fanatics site is on sale. Limited time only, though. So get them while they're hot. They were $40, now on sale for just $28. All you have to do, it's very simple. Use our link down below, chatsports.com/SF shirt. You use that link to your advantage. It'll take you to Fanatics, and Fanatics will know that we sent you. D. Winners is breakout candidate number 4. Like Jacob Cowing, like Isaac Guerendo, a young player who had one of the best off seasons for San Francisco. And there is a foundation to build off of with Winters. Last year, his coverage grade, 80. That was 6th among 189 off-ball linebackers. Now, it only came on 180 coverage snaps, but when he was in coverage, he looked good and he looked comfortable. Robert Saleh raved about him with how he looked at OTAs and how he looked at mandatory minicamp. The arrow is pointing up for him. He has a great opportunity to seize a starting linebacking spot alongside Fred Warner. He plays the game the right way. He plays the game with reckless abandon. Plays the game like you shot out of a cannon. Plays the game like an absolute bulldog. He needs to harness that because linebacker is such an instinctual position that you play upon feel, and sometimes because of that aggressiveness, he's always looking to make the big play, always make the big hit. So sometimes that can take him out of plays. But if he can kind of slow that down a little bit, because sometimes things are just clicking too fast in his mind, my goodness, the potential is there for the former TCU product. And then breakout candidate number 5, Dominic Purdy. Pro Football Focus ranked him as the 10th best guard in football going into 2025. That's including left guards and right guards. That is high praise. So Dominic Purdy is rising very fast. And I think that he can go from having a very sound rookie year to being a Pro Bowl, all-pro level player in 2025. His overall Pro Football Focus grade of 80.5 ranked 11th among 136 guards last year. So he was one of the best rookie offensive linemen, not just guards last year, from that draft class. His pass blocking grade, 68.9. He can get better there, but he didn't play right guard in college. He played right guard at the NFL level, And he had a seamless transition. His run blocking, great. This is where his athleticism really helps him. This is where his experience playing offensive tackle in college benefited him. 81.5 there. That was ninth. 0 quarterback hits allowed. Number 1 among guards at the position. He did give up 35 pressures, 126th. That's a difficult one to gauge with Kyle Shanahan's system because they don't have a lot of protection answers, and sometimes it makes those pressure numbers look a little bit worse. There weren't a lot of times in which you watch Dominic Purdy and you're like, man, he's getting beat a lot. Other breakout candidates here. Jair Brown. I liked how he played as a rookie. He was very spotty in year 2. I think that with better coaching, he can really elevate. Renardo Green was really good last year. He was top 10 in pass breakups. He was top 20 in passes defended in only 7 starts. He got picked on a little bit throughout the spring, but I think the talent is there for him to really, really emerge in year 2. Deommodore Lenoir. Yes, he's only given up 1 touchdown the last 3 years in coverage, and last year he played at a Pro Bowl, All-Pro level. This year, though, I think that he can be named a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro. Too many casuals sleep on him. And then Jawan Jennings. 975 yards last year. Technically, that was his breakout year. How about he goes over 1,000 this year? Then he gets a bag. And to people outside of the Bay Area, outside of this Niners fan base, they realize who Jawan Jennings is and how good and quality of a player he is. Be sure to hit that subscribe button here on the Niners Report for daily and year-round coverage of the San Francisco 49ers. I'm Chase Sr. Thanks for rocking with us. Oh! Candy! A $50 super chat. No plans, just working. Yes, I did get my draft hat, one chat sports hat, Kittle jersey. Just waiting for the other jersey and the football. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Niners are doing it this year. Let's go. See, when you send in super chats, we like to pay it back. And when you win items, we will get those items to you. Candy, we appreciate you. Mr. Block Ice, $2. Thoughts on the new look? Salah, the defense, our D-line. I think this Niners defense is going to be much better this year than they were last year. I think that better coaching helps. I think that they're more athletic and they have some more youthful energy and juice on the defensive side of the ball. I think the pass rush is a little bit of a question mark, but I think that defense is using them, catering to their strengths. That's what good coaches do. Nick Sorensen did not do that last year. Of course, you have to be a good play caller. You need to be able to make in-game adjustments, in-season adjustments. That's all great. That's part of what makes you a great coach. The other stuff, though, is very important. That's what Salah is going to bring this team. All right. Happy Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody who tuned in today. $67 in super chats. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And yes, I see some of you in the comment section. I don't include rookies as breakout candidates because how are they going to break out? We don't know what they did the previous year. It's kind of not fair to do that. All right, let me do this. If we get to $100 in super chats, we're at 67 right now. I'm going to give away a 49ers Report hat.
Wow. Come on, baby.
So let me pop up a 2-minute super chat shot clock. If somebody gets us over $100 in the next 2 minutes, I am going to give away a 49ers Report hat. So we are at 67 right now. A $50 super chat gets us over 100. If somebody sends in a 50, I'm going to give away a 49ers Report hat. But we got to get there in under 2 minutes.
On the clock.
Can we do it? Bryce, this is when I was old enough for a credit card. Get your parents' credit card. Just kidding. Just kidding. We've had people do that in the past. It's not good.
Not good.
I mean, it's impossible for us to tell how old people are.
Yeah.
Oh! Candy! San Francisco! right. M. Madsick, I'm sad I never got my jersey that I want. My brother, I told you it took a little while for the jerseys to get here. So I got one jersey recently, but it's not your jersey. I got a Colin Kaepernick jersey with the Super Bowl patch on there. I think that is Romeo's jersey. W. Madsick, remind me what jersey you got. Remind me what jersey you got. This was from the draft, right? Because we're still waiting on some jerseys to come in from our jersey supplier. Takes a little while, but we have them sent here. Then I write a letter, and then I send it out to you. So you will get your jersey. I promise you that. See, Candy knows. Be patient. It will come. Chase is good for getting you your gear. You already know.
Always.
All right. Who wants this 49ers Report hat? Who wants this 49ers Report hat?
How do you want to do it? Do you want to do like got a spam? Pick someone at random? How do we want to do this here?
Let's see who's in the chat here.
Maybe you see someone that you think's worthy.
Bryce, how old are you, man? How old's Bryce? Bryce is one of our moderators. Hondo, y'all are awesome. Keep it up. Thank you, bro.
Could have put, a few names on a wheel as well if you wanted to do it that way.
Who wants a 49ers Report hat? Type me in the chat. Type me in the chat.
$2 super chat from Alec Ramondo.
Alec Ramondo. Thank you, bro. $2. All right, I see Joe, Alec, Niner for life. Tommy Huxley saying me. All right, how about this, Chip? The first person to email me gets the 49ers Report hat.
Uh-oh.
My email, chase@chatsports.com. The first person to email me gets a hat. I'm looking at my email right now. First person to email me gets a 49ers Report hat. Chase@chatsports.com.
It's on the screen.
It's on the screen. Bottom of your screen. That's the email address. First person to email me gets a 49ers Report hat. Thanks to Candy. Candy's the
cheese, first one.
Boom. There you go.
I saw Parmesan cheese in the chat. I did see Parmesan cheese in the chat.
All right, Parmesan cheese gets the hat. Now, Alec, I saw you email me as well. Oh, W. Madsick. I think it was the Michael Williams jersey. Here, let me look back. Alec, if you send me a $50 super chat, I'll send you a hat. How about that, Alec Ramondo? $50 super chat, I'll send you a hat, Alec. All right. W. Madsick. Let me look here. Let's look back to the NFL draft.
Gonna get to the bottom of this. W. Madsick.
From the draft. Let's see. Let's see.
I thought some porch pirate jacked the swag.
Well, they may have. I'm trying to look at. W. Madsick, what's your full name again? Is it Scott Birtle? Now, Alec Ramondo, how much do I have to send for a current or OG jersey? Alec Ramondo, if you send in a $200 super chat, I'll send you a Niners jersey and a 49ers Report hat.
A 2-for-1.
2 for 1 for a $200 super chat. W. Madsick. What's your actual name again? I just gotta remind me. Because Romeo got our day 3 jersey. I have a jersey here for Scott Birtle.
Wyatt M.
Candy won day 2. And then day 1, Doug got the jersey, the football, and Michael Williams. Wesley Wilder got the draft hat. I'm not seeing you. Day 3 of free agency, Dragon Slayer Michael Wade. $75 Dignan got the jersey on day 4 of free agency. Candy got the hat. Jersey giveaway, day 3 of free agency was Dragon Slayer Michael Wade. Day 2, Dragon Slayer, Candy, Lax King, and Wyatt Maddox. That's you.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, let me see. Let me see Wyatt.
Travis, have a great weekend. Have a great weekend, man.
Let's see.
Joe.
Wyatt, I saw your email.
Did y'all see Rams O tackle Alaric Jackson as blood clots?
Yes, I
didn't
talked
see
about that with Larry Krueger earlier.
I hadn't seen that.
Wyatt, I'm looking at my email, man. I've only seen one email from you. So did you ever send us what jersey you wanted? I sent you an email back.
Oh, that's why the Rams signed DJ Humphries. What a weird situation.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
DJ Humphries.
I know. Had that deal done with the Niners and then was like, you know what? Never mind. All right. Wyatt, I emailed you back. We're going to give away our hat. The hat is going to go to I Like Parmesan Cheese.
I do remember this. Now that he says this, I do remember what he's talking about. I totally remember that. Winning on his lunch break.
Yeah, but I don't know if you ever sent me your address because I'm looking at my email and I don't think you ever emailed us. But I do remember you winning the jersey. So just answer my email. We'll get that figured out, brother. Because I know I'm almost certain we submitted. Oh, you did on Venmo. Okay. All right. Well, email me and then we'll get it figured out for you. Because I'm almost certain we put an order in. Maybe a porch pirate did get it.
Yeah, Father's Day, true lore. Father's Day's on Sunday. Happy early Father's Day.
On Sunday, yes, sir.
Shout out all the fathers out there. Who's a father in here? Who's a father in here?
We're content daddies, but we're not fathers. All right. Wyatt, again, email me back. We'll get that figured out. It was on our Venmo tile. Yeah, me and Chip remember what you're talking about. Your pops, have a great time. If you are a dad, happy Father's Day. Great content to come all throughout the weekend and every day because that's what we do. For Chip, I'm Chase. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for making it a fun show. We'll catch you soon. Peace.